tote the sky, burning tires all around. Kicking up the side by side, roaring engines loud. Friends and family gather, let the good times roll. Mud stains on faces, hearts wildly out of control. Smashing the throttle open, feel the power surge. Hitting trails and ridges, laughter's all we heard. Cracks of cold beer bottles, echoes in the air. Sunsets fade tonight, we got no time to spare. Off-Road Shenanigans, tearing up the ground. Mud and sweat and joy, we're camaraderie found. We live these wild moments, life on untamed land. Bonded by the freedom, deep within the sand. Bonfires lighting up our faces, cheers and songs. Through the darkness, feels like we belong. High fives and hooping, holler, life's exhilaration. A brotherhood in motion, pure and proud elation. Engines start to whisper, morning dew presides. Heads held high and dirty pride never hides. Our wild memories, mistakes we did create. Lessons etched in trails we'll remember every day. Off-road shenanigans, tearing up the ground. Mud and sweat and joy, we're camaraderie found. We live for these wild moments, life on untamed land. Bonded by the freedom, deep within the sand. Engines start to whisper, morning dew presides. Heads held high and dirty pride never hides. Pack up our wild memories, mistakes we did create. Lessons etched in trails we'll remember every day. Off-road shenanigans, tearing up the ground. Mud and sweat and joy, we're camaraderie found. We live for these wild moments, life on untamed land.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Off-Road Shenanigans. We are happy to have everybody aboard. Tonight, we've got us joining us, Preston, got Michael, and we got Zach. So, it's the first time Zach's appearance on the podcast. It's very rare we get him on the camera.
He looks a little scared.
He doesn't like being on the camera, and he doesn't like to talk much on there, so we're gonna have to get that out of him a little bit.
I don't talk much anyway.
That's true. But so what is tonight? Tonight's just gonna be free talk. So we're gonna start this new thing where it's pretty much just shop talk, and we're gonna talk about stuff that's going on in the ORS life and what's going on in the shop and the trails and what else is going on. We got some buggies getting built, so that's what we're going to talk about. Feel free to chime in, ask questions, comment, anything y'all want to talk about. Just feel free to hit the comment section there, and we'll make sure we pay attention to you. So sit back and relax for some exciting information, and let's kick it off. Michael, I think I'm going to let you take it off from the start here.
Oh, okay. All right.
Got him.
Yes, you did. That's a couple times this week you've got me. So the other night, this is where some of this is coming from. The other night, after the podcast Thursday or Monday, we sat around and just shooting the bull for a couple hours. And
12 o'clock?
yeah, yeah. So it was kind of late, or almost getting early. And we started just talking about random things that, I'm new to the side-by-side world. And we just started talking about some of your previous builds.
Yep.
So then it made me start thinking more about everything. Because, like, Chris, you got the General, which is a huge build. Just, it's kind of ridiculous. Preston's is pretty dang close to it. Just doesn't get beat as much. And then Zach's got a really cool built Ace and some other projects going on.
Nevertheless, it's like the only built Ace like his. I mean, there's like no other one out
Yes,
there.
yeah. Well, I've only seen one other one.
Sure.
We were waiting on scrolling
Michael
through
Four
market.
has his sons, but it's not built as big as that.
Yeah, I'm flipping through Marketplace and I see another Ace. I'm like, oh, that's what they normally look like. That's boring.
Way boring.
So let's talk about some of our past buggy builds or let's go with our current ride. Okay. Current ride. So Preston, shoot me off your current ride. What's your normal?
So the everyday is a Razor 1000 4-seater. 6-inch dual Adler boxes, forward A-arms on it, L&W fab, control arms, custom cage, pretty much just the basics on it. Didn't need to feel like I needed to go extreme until recent. Now I'm looking into some long arm kits and some other stuff for it. Give it that little more width and go a little bigger tires on it with keeping it low.
Don't forget that Super ATV rack you got in there now too.
Oh yeah, the used one out of the General that's living on its last limb.
Hey, it's better than the OEM one you had going in there. That thing wasn't
better than
going
that
in
one.
very much further, was it?
So my buggy's nickname is called Hopes and Dreams, for the simple fact of for the New Year's ride at River Run, Chris swore up and down, left and right, I needed to fix my buggy before it wasn't going to make it the weekend. He swore I was going to pull it on the first trail, it was going to break, and we were going to spend half a day fixing it.
Been there,
I had front diff issues, I had steering box issues, tie rod, and a few other things going on with it. We beat on that thing for 5 days, and it didn't care. Chris, on the other hand, broke some stuff. I didn't break anything, so everybody started calling
Wait a
it
minute,
Hopes
hold on.
and
That
Dreams.
weekend I only broke a belt.
And a ball joint.
That's normal.
2 ball joints.
That's normal wear and tear. That's like putting gas in it.
It's okay. You were on the park road, so it doesn't count.
Oh, and you broke an axle because we got videos of it.
Was that weekend? Okay.
Yeah. So we have lots of videos from that weekend of doing ball joint replacements and axles, and good old Hopes and Dreams just kept trucking along.
Thank God I'm not dealing with those ball joints anymore. That's a thing in the past.
Yeah.
Okay, so speaking of that, what do you got going on with the General?
So the General, man, I tell you what, I think my guys have recently named that thing, gave it a nickname or a name of the buggy.
Come on, Chris. You got to say it out
Just
loud.
say it.
Just say it out loud.
So Lieutenant Dan is the
There we go.
the new name of the 4-seater out there in General. So yeah, 2018 Polaris General. That thing started off as a baby General. You know, I got it from the dealership. It was, not modified, still stock. I think the guy that traded it in had, 17 hours on it or something like that, and it just wasn't the right machine for him. He needed more of a Ranger for it, per se. So I bought it, and well, a stock General just doesn't last very long behind the wheel or behind the hands of me, because I like to wheel hardcore. I like to full send it. And so as things started breaking on it, things started getting stronger on it. Like the drive shaft. Actually, I think the first thing I broke on it was a drive shaft. I broke it in two different places. I twisted it and actually broke the yoke on it. So the drive shaft got replaced, and then next thing I know is the axle, and then an axle, and then I think I bent the A-arm because I hit a covert at 30 miles an hour. So then it got the lift kit, and then after I put the lift kit on it and 35-inch tires on it, then I started taking it up to hidden falls more and more, and things started breaking on it more and more.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Was that all playing in the mud, or was that more
No,
rocks?
that's all rock playing. Actually, before I opened up ORS, I really didn't do a lot of mud, parks or anything like that.
Okay.
And matter of fact, I haven't been to any mud parks before that. I brought these two guys on, and they took me to the first mud park I've ever been to, which was Mud Buddies. And
it was the driest Mud Buddies has ever been. The driest it's ever been out there.
So he even broke apart.
Yep, they broke apart.
So
we talked it up so highly, and
we actually went to Mud Buddies, and I didn't end up breaking anything. I did get stuck a couple times.
You did. I thought I was gonna rip the rear end off my buggy trying to pull you out.
Yeah, I got stuck because that stuff was just like it was like clay stuff. I mean,
I gave you forewarning though. I said, Chris, if it's this dry out here and there's a water puddle, do not go in it because you will not come out of it. And I think Zach told you the same thing.
Yeah. There's a reason why I tried to go through one of them right behind you, and I just sunk in. So
that did happen. So, anyways, after that, I kind of liked the mudding side of it, and I pulled away from it a little bit and ended up finding a good setup for the mud side and the rock crawling side. And matter of fact, that these guys really didn't like the rock crawling side. I mean, I don't think y'all didn't do much of rock crawling before, anyways, right? Y'all just
I did it
parts.
quite a bit, but it was always on BKTs or mud lights or something that's not made to be on the rocks. So you had a lot more slippage, a lot more unsteady.
yeah, you had to use more throttle to get up there.
Yeah. It was a lot more unsteady when you have a BKT lug sliding over a hill instead of trying to climb with an all-terrain tire or a rock tire that has a far patch. You're not just ding, ding, ding.
Then we put a set of 35 those MRTs on yours, and then we found those tires that you got on it now.
37-inch Toyos.
Yep, and then we started hitting the rock parks pretty much, and now the guys were like, "Oh, I like the rock parks. It's not that bad." And
I'd rather be mudding.
I'd
rather be mudding.
You'd rather be mudding, but we do more rock crawling. We have mudding lately.
Yeah.
The problem with the mudding is that the parks are so far away from us. They're actually further than anything else. The closest park to us is the Hidden Falls Park.
Yeah.
Which is my second home. Actually, I think it's more of my primary home, and this is my secondary.
Yeah, you do try to get out there more than you try to be in the shop, which you know how that goes.
Yeah, we gotta make those engagements out there at the park, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So, and then it grew to the buggy that it is today. I mean, it's on a 10-inch Super ATV lift. It's got the 6-inch portals on it that now has one broken portal on it because I've been riding them for about 3.5 years, and then bought them used from somebody else. So Preston got me taken care of this last weekend and got me another set of portals to put on.
You got to remember, it's not just on one broken portal. You only have 2 good portals and 4 good A-arms on it.
I'm getting there. Okay. So what did happen to Lieutenant Dan, and how did he get Lieutenant Dan's name? So we were out doing a 101 class, and ended up being I think we were at the 5:30 part of the class.
We're going toward the 5:30. 5 minutes of wheeling, 30 minutes of talking. Yeah.
So we went to International Highway, and got to the bottom of we went through the Soup Bowl, then went down the stair climb at the back of International Highway, and I decided, oh, well, this is a perfect opportunity for me to go back up it. And I've been up it several times. It's not like it was a first time try or anything like that. Well, that's when my portal decided it was going to be on its last leg and not want to go up anymore. I got about halfway up the climb and noticed my driver's side rear wheel was locking up on me. And I was already, and those, 3-4 foot ledges out there? I mean, they're pretty good sized ledges. And going back down wasn't an option. Going back down was going to risk me, rolling over, flipping into the trees that are right at the bottom of it. And it just wasn't going to work out for me. So I decided to have us get me pulled back up. And well, all that rotational force being pulled back up on the winches and everything just started ripping one thing after another. And by the time we got done with it, it was sitting on its skid plate.
Lieutenant Dan ain't got no legs.
And then Brock out there at the park had to come save me and tow me back to camp, which I think, after I realized that I could have drove that thing in 2-wheel drive all the way back.
That would have been interesting to see.
Definitely would have made for some good content, and I really wish I would have got it. But
Well, I mean,
I'm
we
not in the
still have
greatest
Saturday to
spirit that
go.
day.
Well, Brock let us take the shortcut, so
He did make it easier on us, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the general story. And what about the Ace, Zach?
2016 900 Ace. Came on 25-inch tires. Now it's sitting on 35s. Dual A-arm converted up front. I got rid of the McPherson strut. Pretty much a few years into it, I was running on 32s for a long time, and then got rid of the McPherson strut. Now I'm sitting on 35s.
Now, just
Custom cage and
describe a little bit the McPherson strut on the Ace. Is it for people that don't really know about the suspension setups on it? It's just pretty much it's a control arm with a strut built into it, right? I mean, it's like a spindle kind of.
the spindle's the shock.
Right.
So it has a lower control arm, and then it uses the spindle. The spindle comes up, and a shock goes into the top of the spindle.
So there's no
Pull
like
over the
double
shock.
arms, and there's no manipulating shock in there or anything like that. It's all
No.
built into the system. So converting to the double A arm IFS system is actually a pretty big change for that thing.
Mhm.
And you had to do some like frame modifications too to make that all work, right?
Yes, I had to add in some fret supports for the upper control arms.
So word has it you have some big plans for that thing. I mean, you were talking about putting some 8-inch portals on that thing. Is that still the case, or I heard you might have another buggy build in the works?
I'm not sure just yet.
Not sure yet, huh?
I might go. I already have the 8-inch portals for it. I just haven't had time to mess with it.
Well, we talked about also maybe stretching it forward and backwards and all
Mhm.
that kind of stuff too. But somebody else's buggy's in the way right now.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah, that poor.
what about your side by side? Where's yours at?
So mine is in my head in an empty checkbook.
See, that's where you're wrong at. It's
Um,
sitting outside in the yard.
Yeah, well, if I can get Mama to approve that spending, that would be wonderful. So I keep just doing stupid stuff in my Jeeps, and I have 3 current builds at the house, and one has to get done before I can do anything else really. And she keeps reminding me on a daily basis that it's still not done.
I told you if a tree falls on it,
Well, I know,
then it's
but
ready for a bouncer chassis,
yes,
and you don't have to worry about building it right
but
now.
that's not the primary build though.
He's talking about a different build.
Yeah.
The Bronco.
I got to finish my daughter's Bronco.
You have too many projects going on.
Dude, there's 7 vehicles in my driveway, and it's killing me. I need to kind of weed them out a little bit here and there.
Look, man, some turbo cans of spray paint. We can paint that thing in a weekend. Make it good to go.
I got to rewire it. That's the dreaded problem. I got to rewire the entire thing.
Not everything has to work. We can strap some flashlights to the front and some
Look,
flashers on the
all
rear.
I'm
So-
gonna say is that we're going to a mud park here in a couple months, and the Jeep is just not going to be the best buggy to take out there. I need you to hook in that Razor out there. It's got them big old PKTs on it.
That would not be a bad thing at all. Honey, if you're listening, please go ahead and just write me a blank check.
Look, if you want to drag your XJ out there, I'll drag mine.
Oh, okay. Wait a minute. So if we want to do the XJ thing,
We haven't even talked about the XJ yet.
So the XJ needs a lot more work than the Bronco. So calm down.
not really.
Oh, really?
I don't need.
Not if he's
I don't
just gonna
need
sink it in a
shocks.
hole.
I don't need. What's the other? Oh, I need to do a locker for the front because it's got that axle disconnect that Jeep did for a couple
You
stupid
can't
years.
spend money on a locker on that until you put lockers in blue.
No, well, no. So blue actually needs some legit lockers. I just need the axle disconnect thing to disappear off the
I could put a
XJ.
Lincoln locker in it.
No, it's not even the center gears.
You want
So it's just like my my JL that it has a the front passenger axle disconnects from the center. So it's supposed to give you better fuel mileage.
We
it's
pull
crap.
all that out, weld it all together.
I'm down with that.
So this
But
Oh,
then
Bronco,
again-
I'm sorry,
this
wait.
Bronco you're talking about, what
We have
year
a
is this
Miller,
Bronco?
so it's a
so the
Miller.
Bronco's a 78.
It's a 78.
So
Bronco.
my youngest daughter decided that for her first vehicle, she wanted to go old school. She doesn't like high tech. She likes to focus on her driving. Like right now, she's got her mom's 2016 F-150 that's got all the electronic dash crap, and she just doesn't use it. She's
Fair
like,
enough,
I
fair
sit in the truck, I turn on the music on my phone, so I don't have to touch the radio the rest of the time. I have my playlist built for whatever drive I'm taking, and I'm good. She just doesn't deal with it. So, she wanted something real plain and simple. She's always wanted a truck ever since she was a little one. And all of a sudden she's like, no, Dad, I want to do a Bronco. So I was like, okay, what generation? You know, I was thinking she wanted, because originally I was looking at a 6th gen, and I was like, all right, that's what she wants. And she's like, I want a 78 or a 79. I was like, okay, Gen 2, no problem, love it. One of my aunts had one growing up, so I was all about it.
Sure.
So as I get excited about finding one, I just happen to know a gentleman that had one sitting in the yard that wasn't getting built. So we picked that up, and we found the gentleman that he had got it from had a couple more things done to it than it needed. And the wiring system's all trash, and I had a bunch of hidden rust in the floorboard. So custom floor pans, because they don't make section for the rear seat. So you can buy the floor pans for the front and passenger fronts. You can buy the trunk area, but that center section you can't find. So we hand fabbed one at the house. Got that all welded in, started doing other stuff. So now it's all new brakes, all new suspension, rebuilt the motor, new monster transmission, rebuilt the transfer case. So now it's waiting for some interior to get laid into it, and the rewire and a fresh coat of paint.
Nice.
Painless wire harnesses. If you can hear us, just help them out so he can get a buggy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll just
Yeah.
kick one my way.
Well, you know, once we get you in that side-by-side world, we'll keep your Jeep as the rock crawler, and we'll put that side-by-side in the mud pits.
I'm all about that.
We gotta do it,
I'm
man.
all about
Because
that.
I tell you what, the first time you take that Jeep in the mud, you're going to spend 4 hours trying to get that mud out of your cloth seat. You're going to be cussing.
There's
and saying,
still
"Where's
mud
it?"
in my Jeep from when I swamped it with Preston. So
We almost went swimming.
you did.
I did. for
I was on
sure.
the high side.
Yeah.
Look, you're not supposed to follow people with snorkels.
No one told me that before.
I didn't think he was gonna do it. And he said, "Hold my beer and watch this."
So, you know, you mentioned, we backtrack a little bit to what Zach was talking about, is XJ that he has. I mean, just explain something, because these guys didn't tell me they're going to get this thing. They just showed up with this thing, and I'm like, what the hell is this?
No, I've come to learn that Zach doesn't plan anything in life. All of a sudden, one day he just shows up with a new vehicle.
Well, he's also got a really good friend that loves Marketplace.
Yes. This
Yeah.
is
No,
true.
And,
you have an addiction. You don't love it. You're
Okay,
addicted.
I'm addicted to Marketplace, and when people tell me they want something, I'll find them the best deal in the world they can ever find.
I think you found a smoking deal on that thing, and that thing is, I mean, it's fully built. I mean, it's got what, 61-ton axles underneath it, all F350 axles underneath it,
Mhm.
and it's sitting on what, 40-inch mud swampers. I mean,
Mhm.
and
Brand new Swampers.
brand spanking new tires on it, and I mean that thing is clean. I mean, for a crawler or for an off-road vehicle, that thing is clean. It hasn't been beaten. It's already got the rhino lining on it all the way through the body and stuff like that, ramping through the trees and stuff like that. Don't have to worry about getting it torn up. I mean, what do you think about it? I mean, you pretty happy with it so far?
Yeah, so far. It needs a few little things still, but
All XJs do.
you know,
You know, that's the XJ life right there. You're gonna have to start hashtagging everything XJ life.
it runs pretty good until it gets hot.
Yeah. So what we like to say is Zach bought axles and tires and got a Jeep for free.
Yes.
Pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah. I'm going to say that for sure, because that is definitely the deal of a lifetime you got over there. I'm actually kind of jealous about it. Then we got Taylor. You know, he doesn't work here at the shop, but he's definitely one of our big shop promoters and one of the friends of the shop, and
Poor Taylor.
goes out and wheeling with us and everybody. And he's got an XJ as well, and that thing's sat in his yard for a while, trying to get built up and everything else. And finally, we talked him into bringing it up to the shop, and he's been putting blood, sweat, and tears into that thing, and that thing is massive now. I mean, it's almost as big as yours is. It's
Mhm.
what, a 6-inch lift or something like that, or I don't even know, 7.5 inch
Rubicon
lift.
Express.
Yeah.
So really nice lift kit on it, and it's got I mean it's built pretty nice as well. I can't wait for him to actually get it on the trails and going.
We were talking about it earlier. He went to fire it up the other day, and now it's got dead batteries. So it's got to figure out the charging system.
That thing's fighting
And
him
it's-
every step of the way.
That's XJ life.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah.
extra.
If it hasn't kicking your butt.
Mine's sitting out there dead right now.
Actually, like.
Yeah, extra.
And
right?
speaking of Taylor, you know, we got a big build that we need to have some motivation on here.
We do. So let's talk about that for a minute. So this build that we have, it's been in our shop for a minute now, and we're not going to say the time length, but it's been in there for a hot minute. And the problem that we have is a lot of schedule coordinators not going on, and plus the shop has just drastically increasing on we've been getting, and we're not hammered, but we've been getting pretty busy. And we've been doing a lot of events this year. We've been going to a lot of events and meeting new people and doing this, that, and the other. And it's been taken away from us being able to work on our personal projects like the big build, like Taylor's big build. But I am being honest with you, we've got the CNC table up and almost ready. I put water in it today and realized I had a couple leaks, so we're gonna get those leaks fixed and get the CNC table running again. And hopefully we can get some big old tires put underneath that thing and get it on the trails, because I want to see that thing hit some mud hole.
Oh, what's up, Chris? I saw you commented on there.
Oh yeah, what did Chris say here?
We had a Marble Falls on the 21st.
On the 21st? Oh no. That's a horrible weekend. That's a horrible weekend because we are going to be at our race that weekend. So
Hey, no phone third, no phones.
No, I was checking. I was like, "What's the 21st? What do we got going on?" I'm already looking. I'm like,
so
"All right."
I'll step off from this, that way I can hit that real quick. So this year we kind of started off something new. We started a race team kind of accidentally, I guess you could say. A good friend of mine, Nathan, he's the owner of a Pro R, and he's been wanting to race it, and finally got into some races this year. He's wanting to get in the desert series, and I think we're 3 races in this year so far.
Something like
But
that.
the very first race that he actually went to, they said you need to register with the race team name. And so he calls me up and he goes, "Hey, I'm just letting you know your shop's now a race team." I was like, "All right, bet." What are we calling it? Shenanigans Racing Development Team, or SD, or what is that? SRDT. So I said, "Awesome, let's do it." And then, with my racing background and everything else, I was just like starting to get to the jealous part. I was like, I really want to get back in racing really badly. And now he's like showing me videos of it, and he's talking to me about it, and he's increasing my interest in it. And I'm like, all right, we're doing this. So now I got a Turbo R, going full race buggy with it. And I think we got my first race and his 4th race for the year at the El Paso Store Race, which is the Southwest Texas Off-Road Racing Series. 250-mile race. I think it's 63 mile lap. So really excited about that. And so that's where we'll be that weekend, Chris, unfortunately. But we'll be out there Saturday, maybe. I know I will be. Trying to talk Michael.
I'm okay. I got the green light.
Oh, he got
Mama
the green
said
light.
go.
He's good. So we'll be out there this Saturday. So, why don't you load up and come out there this weekend? I'm still trying to talk these guys into coming down.
Oh,
He's like, I want to work on my Ranger.
well, see,
Yeah, we got
here's
other
the thing.
projects too.
Over the past,
It's just a day ride.
yeah, but
Yeah,
Saturdays
you
are
always
very-
say that. It's
yeah.
just a day ride, and then we're there all weekend.
And when
Well,
you
your
say it's
buggy's
just a day
crapped out on
ride,
the
you want to
trail.
stay there till 9 o'clock, and then let's just get a cabin and let's hang out till the next day.
Hey, man, when you're having a good time and you ain't breaking nothing, you want to stay longer.
See, when
That's
me
what you
and
call it, good
Zach
and go
both said
home.
it, yeah. When me and Zach both said it, we said our primary buggy. We now have secondary buggies. Both of us winded up getting Rangers over the past week. My cage is a little too low. I didn't like the bed, so I got to finish the general bed conversion on it. Got to fix the cage. Zach has some stuff to do on his. Hey, we got to get them ready.
Yeah,
We
but
have
they're
a
both
mud
set up.
ride.
They're both set up for mudding.
Yeah, mudding for the cure.
You got 2 months. You got 2 months for mud to cure.
It'll be here before you know it. It's not 2 months.
Yeah.
It's a month.
So I want to know of all of our viewers and all of our fans who's going to go to Mud for a Cure this year, because we'll be out there for sure. It's out at River Run ATV Park in Jacksonville, Texas, and it's my favorite mud park. I mean, I've been to a few mud parks now. I mean, I like Sabine, but it's River Run's
Hey,
closer.
Sabine's good for the river.
Yeah, I love Sabine
Yeah.
for the river part of it, but for riding and actually having a good mud and riding time.
Then
River
again,
Run's definitely the park.
last time we were at Sabine, it was dry as hell. So
It was, yeah.
The driest it's ever been, from what we were told.
And the bad thing
at
about
least we got
Sabine
to see
is,
the park, though.
Yeah.
yeah,
Got to
this is
drive
true.
everywhere, never got stuck.
And that's the thing they say about Sabine, though, is that when they do get wet and they get water out there, you're driving along because all the trails are covered in water. You don't know where to go and where not to go. So sometimes you might just end up
That was
submerged.
over a year ago, right?
Yeah. What was
That was the last time they threw.
And they've been
Yeah.
flooding left and right out there like crazy. Because
I
of
think
all
it
the
was
rains.
Thomas Bell. He said he was one of the original guys out there, one of the guys we met. And he said he's never seen it that dry out there. And we started describing some of the trails that we were going down. And he was like, wait, that trail still exists? I didn't know that trail's even still out there. You haven't been able to get to it in years and years and years. But it was dry enough we were able to venture down some of the stuff that hasn't been seen in forever out there.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and it's crazy how dry it's been in a lot of the parks. But it's interesting enough. We were out at Hidden Falls 2 weekends ago, and it was a dust bowl out there. I mean, it was dry, which is the normal for Hidden Falls. And then we go out there this weekend, and it was like mud puddle. All the holes are full of water. I'm like, man, y'all got some rain. He's like, yeah, we got 3.5 inches of rain. Holy moly!
Send it our way.
That I don't mind at that park because it keeps the dust down. It's not near as bad as it normally is out there.
I mean, there's some fun mud holes out there.
There is some fun mud holes,
There's
and
a
there
couple.
was a
Yeah, Peasley. Couple.
there was a vehicle out there this weekend that got found in some mud holes, and it was brown by the time it came back out. What was that, anyways? It was
I don't even remember.
yeah.
I just remember looking back over and I'm like, how did he do that one out there?
And then
I can't remember what
I
that
found a
was.
set of Toyota 4Runners that were running down one of the park roads down in UTV side of it. And I saw him turn around and go into the little 2-track mud holes on the side. I said,
Yeah.
"Don't do it." And he did it and got about halfway down and buried that thing. And they had to winch him out. I said, he's like, "This is the first time we've been out here." I said, "Yeah, see those mud holes on the side of the trail? Those don't have a bottom to them. You stay out of it. Unless you have some big tires and a big
What if
equipment."
if the fishbowl or whatever they call that had water in it? You can get real muddy down in there. So that's probably where the guy was.
But I know that some of the parks that have been begging for the rain, and then some parks have been asking for the rain to go away because it's been flooding the parks out. So we're all blessed for the rain that we do get for sure, but sometimes it makes a hell on us.
Especially when you're pulling vehicles in that don't have roofs.
Yeah, for
Then,
sure.
then your butt's just all wet all day.
Well, I'll tell you, especially when you take the windshield off the vehicles and you're driving down the trails and you're having a good old time, it's nice and cool, and then a rainstorm pops out of nowhere. There's no clouds in the sky. The next thing you know, you're soaked from head to toe because you're trying to make it back to camp. Feels like nails like stinging you because the rain's hitting you
Don't
so
drive
hard.
that fast.
Don't matter how slow or fast you were going. It was bad.
Someone pulled up.
So, anyways, with everything that we have going on, that we have Taylor's big buggy going on, and we have we have another project in the shop that's been kind of a quiet project, hasn't really been spoke of a lot, which is the Razor Cart project, and that thing has been getting dragged on, but we do have plans on getting it finished. I do need to push it harder and harder. You want to go check it, see what that is?
Yeah, I'll go see.
And that thing, so we have a customer that has a house down there in Port Aransas, Texas, and they don't allow side by sides down on the beach like some beaches do. Like Corpus Christi Beach, you can go down there and drive your side by sides down. They don't really care. They don't have a law on that. But Port Aransas says no to side by side. So he's like, I'm tired of driving Miss Daisy's golf cart on Port Aransas Beach. So we need to do something about that. So we sat down and I gave him some ideas, and he took the idea with me buying a 2016 Polaris Razor Turbo S. And
Turbo XP.
that was a Turbo S. I'm pretty sure it was Turbo S. But anyways, it was a
Nope, I would've
turbo.
stole the front frame
Turbo
section
Razor.
already.
Huh?
I would have stolen the front frame section already.
So, anyways, we we decided to rip the motor off of the thing and the drivetrain and some other stuff off of it, and we made a custom chassis out of it, custom suspension and everything else. But it's got to be four-wheel steer because it's got to make it across the boardwalk because the boardwalk is so tight that regular two-wheel steer won't work on it. And it's got to be four-wheel drive because it is the beach. And well, when you're at the beach and you're in four-wheel drive, and sometimes you have a little bit too much fun, you might need a winch to get you out. So it's got a winch on it, and I think he's even asking me to put line lock on it. So, you familiar with line lock?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So line lock is going to be a fun one to put on there. But by the time it's all said and done with, it's still going to be a golf cart. It's going to have golf cart seat. It's going to have a golf cart bikini top on it. It's going to have golf cart floor in it. When you stand back and look at the thing, it's going to look like a golf cart, just a little bit bigger.
A lot more power.
A lot more power.
A lot more power.
So, those builds that we have in the shop are always exciting days, but it takes all away from us. We obviously can't step away from our normal day-to-day business to get those projects done because, our normal day work is what pays the bills and keeps the shop running every day. And I can't just shut down the shop for a week or 2 weeks or however long it takes to get these projects done, to get those projects done. So unfortunately, they get put on the back burner a little bit, and they'll get done when they get done, right? So let's talk a little bit about what our plans are for the rest of the year. What we got going on the rest of the year? We got
Sleep.
Huh?
I said sleep.
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 Oh, sleep. No, okay.
Just
You
the
get sleep, you
last few months of the year, just sleep them off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna miss SEMA. We're gonna miss the big event. Let's Get Crawling event. We're gonna miss the Mud and Fur Cure. We've got the races coming up this year. So, the Mud and Fur Cure, I guess, is our next big event that we're going as a team to the park, and that's October 10th to 13th at River Run. And we plan on, going out there like we normally do and seeing what we can't tear up or not tear up and have a good time and not have to fix stuff.
Well, now with all the extra buggies, we're going out there with a lot more than we normally do.
Yeah. Are we bringing more trailers? Because
we're gonna have to. Because normally when we go out there, it's my 4-seater full of people, his 4-seater full of people. But now we have 2 more Rangers. There might be another Razor by that time, and the Ace and everything else. So it's quite a bit more. Maybe you take the Turbo R out there.
I don't know about that.
I
think I've made a pact that the Turbo R is not going to see any day of mud out there unless it's on the trail rides. I can't swamp it. I can't swamp it.
Powerline big hole.
But I know of a turbo or a 4-seater Ranger out there that's got some big old BKTs on it. Needs to see some mud.
Oh yeah, that Razor too. Beasley's.
Y'all are beating me to death. Don't make me go get another job.
You taking me out in the Jeep made me want to get a Jeep, and now I'm like constantly looking for a Jeep.
Yeah, but you just went and bought another Ranger.
Technically traded for that Ranger, so
okay. So you should have found somebody with a Jeep that wanted your big old tires.
Well, I find somebody with a Jeep that wants a big old Ranger.
I know a guy. It's just a Cherokee.
No. It's got to be a Wrangler, and it's got to be JK or Neely.
Oh man, so we all have our dreams of what we want to do. It's all about that money, though, isn't it? I mean that greenback stuff is what makes it hard on us.
Yeah, because the old ways of horse trading is thing of the past. I realized, modern day people just don't understand what horse trading is, and it's hard to make trade deals nowadays.
Yeah,
you used to be able to trade for almost anything you needed on a buggy or a Jeep or anything like that, and trying to do that nowadays, I got to put some hours in, a lot of hours.
Yeah, I think. You can see, like, our customers that come here and get stuff done to their stuff, because you see the invoices that we're charging them, and then unfortunately working on these things is not a cheap thing, and the parts aren't cheap, the labor's not cheap,
and everything's only going up, and
it's an expensive sport for sure.
I just think it's funny how somebody would rather sit on something for 2 years instead of trading it for something that they're going to go buy next week. Like, hey, look, I got the same item that you're about to go buy. Let's work a trade deal. No, I'd rather just sell it. And well, that's kind of retarded to me, but you know, it is what it is. But
So is your Razor the first buggy you've ever owned, or have you owned buggies before
no,
that?
I've owned. I've had a bunch of four wheelers. Well, not a bunch, but 3 4-wheelers, and then I had a Razor 800 that I completely built.
I remember you telling me about the 800.
It started out as a. If you don't move your big old hands out of the camera. It started out as I bought it with a Cat Boss 6-inch lift on it, and it was all stock cage, everything else. I took it out to Post Mudfest and decided to let my uncle and a buddy take it out for a spin. So I walk across to the other side of the park and hanging out with some buddies, and somebody walks by, and all I heard was, "Did you see that Razor flip?" And I was like, "Oh, that's mine," because I was one of the only ones out there, and I knew who was driving it, and I was like, "All right, that's mine." So by the time I made it back, they got it back on its wheels. The cage, people don't have a factory cage. Do not have a factory cage. I don't care what you have it in. Do not have a factory cage. They laid that thing over so hard on its side, it meant the cage over 12 inches.
I know that experience. I've done that in my factory cage.
Yes.
So I
So
went to a hard cage.
we pulled it back to my uncle's house. We ripped it all apart. I was going to do a 900 bed conversion on it to kind of give it that cool aggressive look. Wind it up, starting to build the cage. I built 5 cages probably and chopped up every single one of them because I didn't like the way they looked. Finally, we're sitting there and we have a big old sheet of steel on the bed of it with all these 45s and 90s sitting on the bed. I'm like, hey, that kind of looks like a rock bouncer bed, kind of like a truggy bed. And I was like, man, that's cool. If we just set this here and that here, and the pipes that we already had cut, flared out and narrowed back like you would build a truggy bed. Okay, so we set some more pieces up. So we chopped the cage up we were working on then and decided that one was going in the trash. And winded up building a full custom bed, like a rock crawler style bed on the back of it. Ran full bars all the way back, so it was like a kind of looking like a Jeep cage that went all the way back. Roof line that tucked down in the front went all the way to the rear. Finished that up, brought it back, did the mud gnats crunch, got it out to mud gnats, running like junk because it's set for so long while I was building it. Brought it back, said, man, I need a bigger lift. Ended up doing a bunch of horse trading and got a 12-inch pushing limits lift that made that thing 64 inches wide. So I had a Razor 800, 64 inches wide, one of the big ones back in the day.
Yeah,
And,
64 inches wide back in those days was wide. I mean, that,
yeah.
that was saying something back in the day. That
And
was
I
having
left
some
it on
stance.
32s. So it was a big old buggy on little 32s. Got frustrated with it, put it up on Marketplace. Some guy showed up to the house. Battery was dead. Ended up putting a new battery in, found out all the issues I was having with it was a dead cell in the battery.
Wow.
When you check the voltage, you check everything, it showed great.
Yeah, but those 32s, those moto bosses pulled.
Yeah. Put the new battery in there, and the dude takes off around the neighborhood for a test drive. And me and Zach were standing there talking, and I was like, man, I hope he doesn't want it because that's the best I ever heard it run. So we replaced everything on that unit. And the dude drives it back and loads it straight on his trailer.
Nice.
Walks up and hands me cash, and kind of broke my heart. I've been looking for it ever since.
I still don't know how that
Your
man
first
made it
buggy
back,
always
though.
your first buggy is always the hard one to get rid of. You don't ever want to get rid of the OG of your life.
That guy's trailer was just like a 4x8 sheet of wood on the bottom.
Yeah, I don't know how the buggy didn't fall through it, but no, that was it wasn't that it was my first buggy, because we built a lot of buggies before I built that one. So it's not like one of those your first build things. It was that one gave me so much turmoil.
Yeah.
And trying to keep it running, trying to keep it right, and come to find out it was all just a battery.
Pretty disappointing.
I put it up for sale over a battery. But I got more than I paid for it. full asking price. Dude didn't try to, you know, talk me down, nothing. It was just, here you go, thank you, have a great day. And that kind of I'll find it.
That's
I'll
the
find
thing
it.
about these days. It's hard to sell anything anymore because you put something online for what it's worth or what you think it's worth or what the market's going for. And then, people like Zach and Preston show up and they beat you down a few thousand more dollars.
2,000. I ain't taking nothing unless I get down $5,000. Come on now.
But what was it? So is the Ace? The Ace is not your first buggy though, right? You've had other buggies before that one.
That's the first one.
Is it
First
the
one
first
I
one?
owned.
Okay, so that is your still. Okay.
I built Preston's 4-wheeler he had laying around because he wasn't really doing anything. It was dead in the backyard, so I built that one up, had it on 32s, and then it did wheelies with them 32s.
Yeah.
Polaris 500 on 32s in 2015 was a big achievement. Nobody really did it when we took it to Mudnats. Zach's throwing rooster tails 30 foot in the air. Because we called EPI clutching and we said, hey, we're putting 32s on a Sportsman. And they're like, you're doing what? Yeah, we're putting 32s on a 500 Sportsman. We need some boggin clutches. So we don't know how this thing's going to do, but we'll send you something. And they sent it to us, and that thing pulled harder than it ever pulled stock.
Wow.
So it was a ripper.
Well, that's cool. So when did you start, Michael? When did you start getting into the off-roading world? What was your original
diapers.
story?
Diapers, really.
Yeah.
It was one of those growing up. My parents used to raise coonhounds, so I grew up running swamps, chasing down hides. I think the first truck I ever got my hands on was a '78 Dodge Power Wagon. My dad picked it up from NYSEG, New York State Electric and Gas.
Oh, y'all were rich, huh?
Yeah,
Y'all were rich, huh?
big ballin'.
4-wheel drive power wagon. Come on
Yeah.
now. I didn't see my first 4-wheel drive until I was like 10. Come on now.
So my dad worked in construction, so we knew every winter he was going to get laid off. So it was making as much money in the fall when the pelts were in, and so we just run dogs and go coon hunting every night. So it was one of those that when I started driving, it was all right. I need to go chase the dogs. Just follow me on the road. So I would just jump in the truck, throw it in first gear, and it would just crawl through the swamp.
Yeah.
So that kind of continued. We were running hounds all the way through until I think my junior year in high school. We got rid of our last hound. But at that time, I was still.
You click the electric lockers like these new ones have?
Oh no! We start bogging down, and my dad would be like, "All right, get out and click them. All right, get out there and turn the old hubs." But
and you still walk faster, and
yeah,
you can walk in front of it and click the other hub before it even gets up to you.
Yeah. So yeah, it was. So that's where I started, and through high school, believe it or not, we had a 86.5 Nissan, which is when they changed over to the new hard body style, on 33-inch Ironman tires with a small lift on it. And I ran that thing as hard as I could. So, a little bit harder than my old man probably wanted me to. Doing the same things. I mean, it's just where I grew up in upstate New York. That's just what there was. So many moons later, and a whole different lifestyle, moving down here, and just bored on YouTube, started finding rock crawling. I went to go buy a Bronco, a new 6th gen. It was going to take too long to order one, so I walked across the street and bought a Jeep.
Nice.
I got bored, and I was like, you know what? I want to go out and try this. So I reached out to an off-road club in San Antonio, and they're like, all right, let's go. We're going out this weekend. And I've been hooked ever since. So now I don't have anything
What was
big
the
and
date
ready
on
for
that?
the
Do you have
mud.
an anniversary date on that, so that way your wife can mark that in the calendar? Be like, this is the day I regret.
As a matter of fact, I was looking at the pictures the other day, and it was July of 2021.
Nice.
That's when I bought my Jeep. And the only reason I know that is right after I bought it, we drove it straight to New Hampshire. So it was like, oh, okay. Hey, there's a found a little road vehicle, and we talked about going to see my daughter in Vermont a couple months back. And my wife's like, "No, we're not taking your Jeep." Okay. I went to go visit another one of my kids in Chicago, and she was like, "Definitely not driving to Chicago and back in a weekend in your Jeep. No, it doesn't stay on the road good enough." I was like, "All right,
But you
whatever."
took the old 7.3.
No, well, so the 7.3 did the. So that's in my 2000 F350. Did that one in New York last year,
Oh, okay.
and then so this year to Chicago, my wife just got her brand new trimmer.
Oh, I forgot about the trimmer.
Yeah, so she picked up her trimmer the week before we drove to Chicago. So
I mean, you got to break in a new vehicle.
yeah, I mean, what a better way to go through that break-in
Yeah,
oil change? You just drive to straight
You
to
got to
Chicago.
know if
and
you
back.
have a limit or not. You know.
Yeah. So like I said, I got too many vehicles in my household to even want to try to keep count of. But
So we got to mark it down on the calendar. September 2024. He gets the first razor.
Yeah.
you know, if I could sell some of my other ones right now, anybody want to buy a Jeep Liberty? You know, get rid of a couple of the other ones, and maybe I could
I know scrap
pull the
it.
trigger.
He'll take it.
No, I want more than $5.
Oh.
That doesn't buy me a side by side.
So do you? It sounds like you've done both the mudding and the rock crawling role.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
what do you enjoy more, or do you like them equally?
Believe it or not, the thing I love the most is snowmobiling.
I haven't done that yet. You know, and the funny thing is I've been to Alaska and I've been to some northern states in the wintertime, and I have not done snowmobiling yet. But with all the videos I've seen, it looks pretty fun.
Just talk with Zach. He has a few of them.
Yeah.
It's one of those you don't have to worry about what the condition is underneath you. You just, as long as you got some fresh powder on top, you just go.
Fair enough.
I
I've seen that they go across water and them things too.
Yes.
I want to do tracks on a buggy.
That would be
in the
cool.
snow.
I just wish they weren't so expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are pretty penny.
Find some on Marketplace.
Even then,
I have.
Of course he has. Remember, King of Marketplace over here.
I thought it'd be cool
Spends
to
every
put
last
tracks
minute
on
of his life
something
on it.
and take it out to a mud park and just have tracks on it and just go
That would be great.
ripping through the mud with tracks.
So, I mean, as far as what I would prefer now between rock crawling and mudding, I think it would be a close call.
Yeah.
So hopefully with this trip here to Mudding for Your Cure, I'll get the mud itch again. And I've already brought in my 4-wheeler to kind of see what I need to do to make that mud worthy.
That's what we can do. We can sell the 4-wheeler.
No.
he uses it around the
I
house.
still use it around the house.
Okay.
So
Well,
that's
you can use
my,
the razor around the house. I'm just saying, you just gotta reach up a little higher.
Yeah, but it's easier to jump on a 4-wheeler to get your mel than
I don't know how dragging a box drag would do on the Ranger, but
All right. This is how you do it. We sell the 4-wheeler. We buy the razor. Your wife starts liking the budding and liking the buggies, and we get her a Ranger to use around the house.
Oh, I know somebody has a Ranger for sale.
It's not for sale yet. It's gonna get finished. It's going through a whole new facelift.
Yeah, let's sit down with my wife and try to convince her of that one. You don't come over for dinner?
You want a $2,000 Ranger tomorrow? I'll find you one tonight.
Oh, I bet you would.
See, there's
Two
a thing
buggies.
called insomnia, and I don't sleep. So Facebook Marketplace is like the woosah.
the best thing I found today was 4,000.
For a Ranger?
No, I don't remember what it was. I think it was one of the smaller razors.
Oh, see, we got to get you a Ranger. That way the wife goes and drives around the neighborhood and she's like, okay, these buggies aren't so bad.
I'm just telling you, man. We just gotta put her in one and she'll like it.
I mean, I just got to check my phone for a second.
Mr. Still for food.
You know, the Marketplace might be calling here.
But you know, so I like the mudding world. I really do. I just don't like the aftermath of the mudding world, which is the cleaning part. Because you know what happens is, right? You go out there, 20 friends, they're all riding with you. You got a buggy full. You got 5 or 6 buggies that are full of people and stuff like that. And you get back to the shop, you go to unload it. Guess who's all left?
Yeah,
Just you. And you're spending how much with freaking,
Whoa, wait a minute here. Everybody wants to come back after mudding and spend a long weekend and unload everything the next day. Chris is the one trying to unload everything at 10 o'clock at night when everybody can barely stay awake from not sleeping all weekend.
Hey man, the quicker you get that mud off, the quicker it comes off. You know what I mean?
I don't
Yeah.
know what you're crying about. It's not that bad.
Oh yeah. Because you have a machine that's the size of a 4-wheeler. I have a machine size of a full-size truck. I mean,
See, for me, I'll just stop along and
I
find a
mean,
car wash
the
at the way
mud
home.
packs into the Ace. It just comes out easy.
we stopped at a car wash coming back from Mud Buddies at one time. We were out there for 2.5 hours washing 3 buggies.
I mean, it was fun.
Most of it was spent on yours because you decided to get that black clay stuck in
Oh yeah.
there. I just found 3 of them. I'll send them to you. 3,500 or less.
No, we're talking.
Michael's on Urban News side by side. All right, here we go.
No, that's for the lady.
No. That's for the old lady, but he's gonna get a new side by side out of it. See, give and give.
I gotcha.
Give
Make
and give.
mama happy.
Gotcha. Well, we definitely will hook them up with one.
Oh, even Robert sitting there. Good luck with Lori. Yeah, he knows my wife.
Oh man.
Hey, she was digging my side by side when we had it at the Jeep Fest.
She was. I really wanted her to get in and go for a ride, but you know,
I would have taken her for a ride. I mean, it was in limbo. It wasn't going to go very fast.
I was trying to get her to go up there, but no.
You didn't have your step ladder. We got to get a step ladder.
Yeah.
So a lot of people have been asking when's the next one-on-one class.
When is the next one-on-one class?
That's a good
When do
question.
we have a free weekend?
That's a good
Never.
question.
Robert wants to do a one-on-one class.
Robert, you want to do a one-on-one class?
He says he wants to take my Cherokee.
Oh yeah.
He's been waiting for me to get it done.
Oh, he wants to buy your Cherokee.
No, he just wants to go smash it.
No, that means he wants to buy your Cherokee so you can get a buggy.
So if you sell the Cherokee, then you can buy the side by side.
Hey, Robert, sell your Harley and buy my Cherokee.
There you go. Done.
We do. It's been a minute since we've done a one-on-one. We won't repeat that one, I don't think.
Oh yeah, we will.
Okay.
Yep. Done.
Yeah, we need to find a weekend and get a one-on-one done.
So I know this weekend we're supposed to be doing the ride out with the test drive with Paul. Looking forward to that. It's gonna be a day ride. The weekend after that, I don't have anything planned at this point, and I know the weekend after that is our big race. So,
So next weekend you also have race prep. If you got that much to do on the Pro R, you got to spend a weekend on it.
yeah. But really, after that, it's going to be event stuff. I mean, we got the Let's Get Crawling event a month later.
I guess it's going to be the one-on-one for the event. Everyone's just going to have to come out to the event and do one-on-ones there.
There we go.
So, for those who are watching that don't know about our event or haven't heard about our event, what is our event? Tell me about the event.
Let's go crawling.
Let's get crawling.
Yeah, let's get crawling. Sorry.
I like Let's Go Crawling better. It's okay.
Yeah. Nice little trip out to Hidden Falls, 4 days. Do some one-on-ones, do some trail rides. We got our 2 big main events.
Is it really raining again?
Yes, it is. So I mean, it's going to be a fun, long weekend. Get some vendors out there for us, some music.
Hey,
I'm telling you, we need to push those vendors. We got to get those vendors out there because that's what people want to come see and talk to, right?
Hey, this is Shop Talk, guys. They got to tune in Monday for the Let's Get Crawling. So everybody remember that. Tune in Monday.
Yeah,
Good call.
Monday nights
Good
at 8
call.
p.m. are our podcast for the big event. We had one, 2 now?
Yes.
I think this will
3.
be our 3rd one coming up
Yeah,
next week.
3, the intro, and then
Yeah.
2.
So definitely tune into our Let's Get Crawling website, Instagram, Facebook. And
I was just kidding though. We can keep talking about it. I
But,
just had to throw that in there.
we're excited about it. I'm excited about it. I'm
I
not
can't
excited
wait.
about all the work about it, but I'm excited about the event.
It's definitely been a lot more work than we thought it was going to be originally.
See, I still like the original idea though of you having me and Caden. We'll just post up in one of the buggies with the camera and do live stream of what's going on. You know, be the broadcasters.
Oh yeah, out
Yeah,
at the event. Is that what y'all's job going to be?
yeah. We got two mics
See,
right here.
we've been worried about this whole time. Who's going to do it?
Yeah,
They just chose their
we just
position.
didn't know.
We didn't know it.
See, we have one mic on one side of the buggy, one on the other, sitting in there. Boom.
And just stream it.
How's it going to work with the internet?
You better.
It's
borrow,
overrated.
We better beg, steal, and borrow every Starlink in the county.
Oh man.
If you got a Starlink and you don't mind us using it, let us know. Because I need to be able to stream while we're sitting in the buggy.
Tyler's going to be there. I'll just take his from him.
I have to have one strapped to the top of my buggy so I can move around.
Yeah, we'll make it work.
Now we just have to decide which buggy to put it in. We got options nowadays. This is a whole new thing. I got two, he's got two, you got two. Who knows? We gotta decide. We got options. Beasley's gonna have one. I had to throw that in there for him.
Yeah. I was sitting there thinking you're saying 2, 2, 2. I'm like 0. I'm
One.
gonna cry.
So what do you think out of all the buggies that are out there, that first of all that we have, or overall of all the buggies that exist out there, what do you think is like the best out there? Honestly, I'm not what you like, but what do you think, performance wise, strength wise? What do you think is the go-to buggy?
There is no real go-to buggy. It all depends on what you're doing. Everything is different. If you're trail riding and just kind of beating on it, of course a Razor. I mean, that's going to be a Razor 1000, trailing arms, all the good stuff. So that way it's a little more stable. That's going to be your best option. But if you're using it for farm use, those new 1500s are making waves. They're the ultimate in farm use vehicle. They're making the old Rangers look like they're toys.
Yeah.
Now, if you're overlanding, of course, you got the Polaris Expedition. That's got all the room to store all your stuff
I
inside.
knew he was going to say it. I could have bet money on it.
No, now if you said which one do you think is the best one for me for overall, yeah, I want to build an Expedition. But if you're looking for the different aspects of it all, yeah, I mean, you have the Razor, then you have your workhorse, and then you have, your overlanding. Now, yes, you can use a Razor for overlanding. They designed the Expedition to have the cab to put everything in there. That's why I said that. Now, if they had a cool tonneau cover for a Ranger, heck yeah, let's do one. That would be awesome.
There's a few cool covers out there.
They still don't look quite right.
What do you think? What is your opinion on the best, like, all around buggy out there? What do you like the most?
Just the Razor 1 case.
Yeah, they're pretty popular buggy out there.
Mhm.
I think the Can-Ms are making waves out there as well, though, because of that new, the new Maverick R. It's performing. I mean, there's some videos out there that just makes my jaw drop. I mean, we saw it out there at King of the Hammers this year. It took them trails like it was no other.
Well, there is the one that dropped off that 20-foot face and just kept going.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that's still an outrageously expensive buggy that when it breaks, it's twice as much to fix as Polaris.
That is, I have to say that as Can-Ms versus Polaris, people always ask you what's better, which way to go. And as far as working on them, parts availability, and the cost for the maintenance on them are just, they're double or sometimes even triple the amount of what Polaris is.
Yep.
First of all, Can-M's very proprietary about all their OEM replacement parts because they don't allow anybody else to remake them. And you can't just go anywhere to buy a Can-Am part. You got to have somebody that buy or sells Can-Am parts from the Can-Am dealership. Even like Partzilla, Rocky Mountain, all those guys out there, they're actually having to order the parts directly from the dealership. Or when they have the substitute parts, like Polaris has a lot of substitute parts. I would say probably 50% of the parts, especially on the older units, have substitute parts. Instead of paying $700 for a fuel pump, you're paying a couple $100 for a fuel pump.
Mm-hmm.
And that right there is my more weight towards the Polaris, just for that simple fact.
And the upgradable factors too. You have a lot more companies out there working with the Polaris 1000 over any Can-Am. I mean, look, you can take a base model, let's say a 2014, the first year of the Razor 1000. You could take that base model Razor 1000. There's companies that makes the front end conversions to make it look like the new ones. Just makes it look a little more modern. Then you have the long travel kits, which makes it as wide as the Turbo Rs and everything else. So you have your wheelbase. portals, everything else. You make an old buggy that you could pick up for $5,000-$6,000 look like it's one of these brand new $50,000-$60,000 buggies.
Absolutely.
And it's pennies on the dollar. But if you go for an older Can-Am,
Oh,
you're dumping
Yeah, it's insane.
so much money in it just to get it right before you can even do anything else
Well,
to it.
I mean, also look at Polaris's line. So, I mean, first of all, the biggest thing we want to look at, they're the only ones making Polaris or making military side by sides. They got the Polaris Razor for the military.
Right.
That thing is amazing. Like, if you ever got to see one in person, they're just crazy built.
Military Rangers are pretty cool too.
Yeah. Yep.
And then
And
they have the Workforce Rangers.
they have the Pro XDs.
Yeah.
The Pro XDs are they're workhorses. I mean, I've seen construction companies and industrial companies own those things, and you know how those guys are. They don't care it's not theirs, and they beat the living
and
snot out of
they
them.
went away from the Yanmar and the Kohler, and now they're all running Kubota diesels, the same as you find in a skid loader. That thing, you can idle that thing up at 6,000 RPMs and idle it all day for all it cares.
Yeah. So, I mean, Polaris has definitely built a name for themselves. And with the products that are coming out day after day, I mean, year after year, it's just been, I mean, jaw dropping. I mean, I'm still waiting for that track unit to come out. So, if you haven't seen it yet, Polaris dropped a patent. I don't think I've showed it to you yet, right?
No.
They've dropped a patent on it, like almost like a, I don't even know what you call it. It looks like a military track unit, but it's a side by side that has full track all the way around it on both sides.
Okay.
It looks almost like a Ripsaw.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Think of a Ripsaw. It's like a smaller version of the Ripsaw.
And I think Polaris is also the only one that has a factory race car that you could buy.
This is true. Yeah, they do.
They have a full pre-runner factory turbo R based race car.
Really?
Yeah, we'll have to show you later.
You can pay some money for it. But
See,
yeah,
this
they
is the
do.
stuff. Every time I come into the shop, I got to learn more and more, and then you guys put me down wormholes at night, and I don't sleep.
There's not much out there on it.
You're welcome.
Well, I will tell you this. I mean, and Can-Am pushes really hard their Maverick R for the racing series, and that's what they built it for. But that's all they really got going. I've never really been impressed with any of the other machines built
Their
for
new
racing.
1000 Outlander is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
It looks
Before
pretty good too.
Can-Am's always had the four-wheeler game
Yeah.
down pat though.
Which Can-Am, they make a hell of a motor. They run real they run.
They run real good till they
It's
don't.
just they're expensive to work on and a little bit harder to work on.
Yeah, for sure. And well, you know, running the shop for almost 3 years now, we've seen a lot of Can-Ams and Polarises come and go, but we see way more Polarises, mainly for maintenance and stuff like that, but smaller maintenance stuff, that normal wear and tear stuff, you know, fuel pumps, because the fuel's destroying everything out there.
But it's also more people own Polarises than Can-Am. I've had a couple of Can-Am guys come in here to ask about full services and stuff, and they're like, man, is Polaris just that bad? Because I always see Polarises in here. And I had to tell them, no, Polaris is that much better. That many more people own it. That's why they're in here more. I said, we have a 2004 and a 2005 Ranger. Is when we had the two older Rangers sitting out there side by side. I said, one's an 04 and one's an 05. They're in here for full services because they're still ticking.
Yeah.
You don't see any Can-Ams that old still out there running like those things are. And they're both being used on a ranch and beaten on every day.
You know, those old 500s keep going as long as you
Yeah.
keep maintenance up
Well, those
on them.
sportsmen, though, I mean, I've had
Even the older
the old
sportsmen,
90s
yeah.
model sportsmen.
You just
Yeah.
keep maintenance up on them.
The
and
old
they
Richard
keep
Petty
going.
edition. Dang, did you ever see that one?
No.
We had a Richard Petty edition Sportsman 500 in here.
Yeah.
Every NASCAR man's dream four-wheeler.
It was a ripper.
You know how many cold beers have been drinking on the back of that thing? Oh, Jesus.
Oh, man.
Praising hell and praising Dell on that thing.
What else, Michael? What else are we going to talk about? Anything?
Oh, I don't know. We could sit here all night long.
Yeah, we pretty much good, but
I think we'll just leave them a little bit for next week. And
We've been here
Just-
for an hour now, so we've gave them pretty good chat.
yeah,
yeah,
really. Well, I do know that we do want to get a couple of customers on here, our good customers, for the shop talk stuff to, kind of let them talk about how their opinions about how their vehicles have turned out. I talked to Paul about it earlier. He said he's 100% down. We do mention him a lot, so we might as well
Gotta
introduce him to the world. I mean, he's one of the guys that started from super novice to doing pretty dang well now. Get Caden back on here.
Yep.
A couple other people.
I do have an episode coming up soon, and it all depends on availability. But it's kind of hurt. It's gonna hurt your feelings, everybody. But me and Tyler is gonna do a Bronco episode one of these nights. So
I told Tyler last week that not this week, but next week he was going to be on here. Remember?
Yep.
I'm the one that told him that, not you.
So a good friend of mine, Tyler, that owns Broncbuster, has been really working hard on about these 16 Broncos, getting them built stronger and building some big beasts out there. And he's been begging me to get on the show, so we're going to definitely get him on here and talk about some Bronco stuff one of these nights.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a good night. There's some cons and pros on both sides, but it's good chat for sure.
Absolutely.
We could talk about the Broncos all night.
I'll tell you what, though, don't expect to get anything in between those two.
Oh, that's fun.
When they start going, they're going, and they're going.
That's when I'll be sitting back on Marketplace trying to find me a side by side.
Hey man, I had to get Marketplace back out. Right?
Well, guys, we really appreciate everybody that's joined us tonight. It's been, this is what Shop Talk is about. This random talking about what we got going on, what we have, the trails we've been hitting. We haven't really had any big things going on right for us to talk about. We haven't got to talk about any big oops or any big rescues or anything like that recently.
It's been too hot to go right.
It's been too hot for riding, that's for sure. And that's one of the things I do want to reiterate
What are you talking
too.
about? It's great for me. I got that full AC in that Jeep.
Mr. AC sitting back behind the steering wheel over here.
I see you hit those bypasses all the time.
Yeah.
It's all right. I'm gonna have an AC side by side before long.
Oh God, these guys. I'm not gonna lie. This last weekend we were at the park, and we were in your Jeep, and I was sitting there thinking the whole time, getting from the cold to the hot was actually kicking my butt more than just being in the side by side. Because on Saturday when I was in the side by side all day, I got acclimated to the heat, so the heat didn't bother me anymore. But getting in your Jeep and cooling down, and then getting back out in the heat, and then doing that over and over again,
you can't do that.
That shit wore me out quick.
But here's the cool thing though. If he had a buggy, he could follow you up those trails that he's struggling on and make it look easy like the buggies do.
You might have to show me up.
And he could have stayed in the nice AC of the buggy.
Yeah.
True. One of these days, I will come up with something. I've been looking into it to figure out how to put AC in these Razors and these Generals and the stuff that didn't come North Star edition.
All we have to do is find one trash North Star and just take all the stuff out of it. We'll make it happen.
Well, it won't
it's
really
going to happen.
It won't work so well because of space confinement. When we had that North Star in here the other day, I was in the back hatch of that thing looking at it.
We got welders, we got cutters, and we got freaking fabrication tools. We'll make it happen.
I'm looking at
window unit.
That's what I was just thinking.
I'm looking at some
converter and a window unit.
I'm looking into some 12-volt AC units. We just have to make sure that they'll hold up to the water and the junk that we're going to put it through, hammer them down on.
Yeah, for sure.
Just
put one of those roof AC units I used to put on the old machines.
RV ones.
Well, see, now that we got a couple of Rangers, I thought about that, like putting a little RV unit on the top.
Yeah. Now you're thinking, call me stupid.
You want to put a window unit in
I already got a name for his Ranger, Redneck Sidekick.
No,
ain't nothing wrong with the cut.
You leave Stubbs out of this. The Ranger's nickname is Stubbs. When I put the general
Until you
bed on
slap
there,
an AC unit on it.
well, it'll be icy Stubbs. Because I'll have that thing cranked all the way down.
And yep.
But when you put the general bed on that thing, it's short to a good 10 inches. So
we're gonna have to talk about that next week.
Oh yeah, because the name changed. I came up with the name. Josh came up with the name. Peasley came up with the name, and I think we're gonna stick.
No, it looks like you need to do a poll next week and see what everyone thinks.
All right. Let's do this. For everybody watching, leave a comment.
We got to show them the buggy before they can name it.
Well, how,
That's
We'll
what
have
I'm
to do that.
saying
We'll
next
do it
week.
next week.
we'll do it next week.
We'll get you some
We'll
pictures
get
so
some
you can see
pictures
it.
and we'll give you a little history on the buggy itself, and then we'll do a poll on our Facebook page.
History. I don't have much history. I just got it.
Well, I mean, what you've done to it so far. You've already worked on it, and you're going to work on it more than
That's true.
But again, guys, we appreciate everybody joining tonight for the Off-Road Shenanigans Shop Talk. We're here to just shoot the BS about the off-road world, about what's going on in the ORS life, and give you a little insight of what we got going on. Looking for some bigger plans, some bigger days, more fun, more exciting days, maybe more carnage. I know we got some carnage coming down the road.
Beasley and his flying.
You got to check out, if you haven't already, check out our YouTube channel. We've got plenty of carnage and trail rides on there, and we got some shop videos on there. And I know a lot of y'all been asking about more shop videos that we've been missing out on. We're going through some changes up here in our media technician side of things, but we will get some more video footage to y'all as soon as possible. We are working hard on it. Trust me, it is on my list, and I do apologize for not getting anything out to y'all lately, but we are working hard to get it done. So until next time, we'll catch you on Off-Road Shenanigans Shop Talk. Y'all take care and have a good night.